sent from England to do his work. So whenever he had to go someplace, he never went without me. I had to go with him to buy something for his wife. If I needed, when I got engaged to my husband.
What was his name again?
Porges.
Okay.
I forgot his first name. He died here in America. He was diabetic. Salzi bumped into him. And he says, Esther, I saw the director Porges. I said, where did you see him in the subway? He was going to work. He was a waiter. And he was from a very rich family at home. But anyway, so yeah, I used to do things. Salzi was my driver sometimes. Then there was Longin Schreiber, I don't know if you heard about him. So I was busy, I was occupied. And I went out if somebody asked me to go with him to the theater, I went.
In terms of the camp,
Yes.
the camp was self-sufficient, wasn't it?
What do you mean by that? Of
In
course,
other words, everybody
became a little business. You know, they were involved in business.
But
We cannot say that it was black. We wouldn't mention black marketing.
oh, people have.
But people did, of course.
People have. People were very. You were not under pressure to do anything, were you, in this camp?
Under pressure, what do you mean? I did my job. I was working.
But
I wasn't forced to work. I was glad to get a job.
You were glad to get a job, but
Right.
it was a relaxed pace. There was no.
Yes, no. Listen, I had to show up every morning to work, and
But it wasn't like
yes.
it wasn't like the camp. There
no,
were nobody
no.
sitting over you.
It wasn't a forced camp. This was already normal life.
Okay.
And whoever was capable had the quality to undertake this job,
Right.
got the job.
The sense then is that people wanted to go to work more than people had to go to work.
Well, sometimes they forced the men to take out the garbage from the camp, you know, so they had some jobs.
Okay.
But I had nothing to do with them because I wasn't among them.
And you don't have to, whatever you, and then there were probably some men who were entrepreneurial and they went outside the camp to make a living.
They did, listen, there were plenty of people that they dealt with the Austrian. There were plenty of people that they dealt with the Americans. They bought their money to sell to somebody else, you understand?
I have a woman on one of my other interviews who told me, and it's one of the clips that I'm going to be using,
Yeah.
that prior to the war she came from a wealthy family, and that he wasn't her husband before the war, but she kept this fiancé alive, and that they got married in the camp, not Salzburg, but they got married, and she had twin daughters, and her husband went to work in the black market, which was illegal.
Yes.
And she said to him, stop, I don't need a coat, I don't, and he wouldn't listen to her. And she said, I kept you alive 5 years, and now you're going to either go to jail or get killed because you want to buy me a coat I don't want. So she takes him to the rabbi, and she says, I want a divorce.
Yeah.
Because I would rather be divorced than have a dead husband. And it's a very cute story,
Yeah.
but she said...
But she resisted it. But
she said no.
She's the one that didn't need it.
I don't need it. He's making me sugar that he's going out and he's risking his life.
I was just the opposite. I always need it.
She said, I know why he's going out there, and I don't want him dead.
You know what? I don't want to have this in the movie.
I'll
in
take
the picture.
it. Don't worry, I have to edit it out.
I thought somebody said something.
No.
But anyway, whenever I needed something, when my brother used to bring for his wife, so she used to say, Isa, give it to Esther, I don't need it. So Esther had it. But if I wanted something and I didn't have the money, so they were boys that they liked me, so they always lent me money by the end of the month. So I did earn money because otherwise I would have the money.
Yeah.
I paid them back. But I said, like, ask Herta. Herta always says Esther was the best dressed woman in Kent.
Okay, good.
So that's the way
Doesn't
it
matter.
is, yes.
You know, whoever wanted did.
Exactly. But I had a good provider. My husband was a good provider.
My mother said Herta used to put away things. She had her little trunk.
She had a little pushka. Huh?
Pushka. Did there come a... You wanted originally to go to Israel and you got
Correct.
pushed back. Did you try to go to Israel a second time?
I went 3 times.
Okay.
3 times I was.
What
Once
year?
I was locked up.
Tell me about that.
Well, I went to. The first time I went with my brother. The second one I went with a Kindertransport. And they sent me back.
What
I
year-
didn't make it.
what
I don't
year was that?
remember. It must have been after my sister died.
Okay.
And the third time, I went on my own. And I had already all my stuff, with all my clothes, and it was like this was my investment. Went to Israel, but I never made it because I was unwell at that time. And it was a rainy day, and we had to go climb through mountains, the Bremen Mountains, I think. And I started to walk, and I couldn't, and I slipped down from the rain to the bottom. And from a distance I saw a little light, so I thought, oh, it must be somebody's house. I will go and I will ring the doorbell. And I came in, where do I come in? To a station, police station.
Oh no.
And they arrested me. They kept me not long, maybe a day or 2. And he said, and I told them that I lived in Italy, but I had a sister who lived in Salzburg because she died, but this must have been 46. So I went to the funeral, but I'm going back to Italy. So he says, what could you prove that you lived in Italy? I said, I know a song, Mamma son tanto felice. I will never forget that. So he said, sing it for me. So he said to me, I didn't even understand him about it. He had somebody who understood German to explain me. He said, every word you say was a mistake. So he sent me back to Salzburg. And then I got it. Yes, I didn't, he sent me back to, where did I go? No, I was in Innsbruck that time. I went to Innsbruck. That's where I got stuck. And my brother was very upset that I didn't make it to Israel. And I had to go back to Salzburg. I didn't want to go back. I think I would go with another group that's going illegal. But I never made it. He sent back Salik Boeing. Salik Boeing comes over and he said, listen, your brother sent me to bring you back. But I bring you back on the one condition that you will marry me. I said, go back without me.
What year was this?
I wouldn't go back with him. I didn't want to go back. But anyway, somebody else came. I don't remember who it was. I think somebody from Watford that was a friend of Salzi's. He persuaded me and I went back. And I got stuck in Salzburg.
So that was before you got married and before you met your husband, all of these.
Yeah, but I don't mention that way, because I didn't publicize to anybody, to my friends, that they are here, that this wasn't, that my son isn't my own. So I mix a little bit the years.
That's okay. Don't worry. Salzburg was the only camp you were in, is that correct?
What, a DP camp?
Yeah,
Yes.
DP camp. Most of the food was food prepared in terms
Yeah,
of
it was
Salzburg.
like a commune kitchen.
Commune kitchen. Okay.
But I have a picture how I carry
we'll go over that
Okay.
after. We're gonna do pictures after. Now, were people from your hometown also at Salzburg?
Felix Alberman was from my hometown.
So what?
He lived on the second street. I knew Felix from home.
So
He was my brother's age.
how was it to see him in Salzburg? Do
I
you
was glad to see. I was happy to see him.
did you
He knew who I was,
immediately?
sure, and I knew who he was.
Is that how you became friends with Herta?
No, this has nothing
Nothing to do with it.
because they were not even married then.
Oh right.
But like I said, the camp wasn't so big, and we became like one family. So everyone was friends with everybody. But I wasn't a close friend with Herta. The closest friend of mine was Hanka. And then there was another woman from Vilna, Zina Shapiro, that she was going with Felix a little bit. Shortly, she was very heavy. Brilliant girl, a bright, intelligent girl, a pianist. She was really everything. And Hanka and I, my sister-in-law, Zina, we were taking private English lessons. So we became a clique, But
Yeah.
Sapka, I knew Sapka was angry at me. Why was she angry? She was in love with Josek Silberschatz, Halina Klein's cousin, the one who lived in Germany. Did you know of him?
No.
No.
But you can tell me.
And Josek was a friend of mine from home, from Belgium. And when he used to come to visit us, she was always jealous. She thought that I am trying to take Josek away. She wasn't married yet. We knew each other as friends, and as a matter of fact, that whenever he came to New York, he always called me, whatever. So Sapka wasn't my friend either, but we became friends later.
Did anybody introduce Sapka to Juzek?
She knew Josek, she had, because she came to Belgium during the war, when they liquidated the Auschwitz people
Right.
from Auschwitz. She came to Belgium. And she lived probably in the same building where he lived, whatever. She had a crush on him.
But he wasn't.
And after the war, when she found out that he is in Salzburg, so she was running after him. But he didn't think of her.
He wasn't interested.
He wasn't interested.
Who did he end up marrying?
A German woman in Germany. He settled in Germany.
Not a Jewish woman.
Not a Jewish woman, but he died, and I don't know, he had a son or 2 children.
How did Sapka and Salsi get together?
Salsi had always a crush on Sapka. I remember she went to Germany, somebody told her that they think that her father's in Germany. So she went to Germany to look for her father. And Salsi was heartbroken. He always loved them. And I didn't even know Sapka that well. So he said he wanted, so I don't know, he came over, we lived nearby. So he said to me, and he was my driver, don't forget when I worked in Duma. So he used to tell me stories. I said, I have a little girl that I love her. She's like a China doll. She was like a China doll. But I don't know, she wasn't sure. She thought that she would get Josek in Germany. She came back empty-handed, so she settled for Salsi. But he was always after her. He was always had a crush on her.
And how did Herta and Felix
And
get
Pele.
together?
This I don't know. I know that he was working in the Jewish committee, I think.
If you know.
Pardon me?
If you know how anybody got together, or Rose
I don't
and...
know. Rose was chasing after every man. Whoever was there, she used to go
You don't
out
know how
with
she
the
got
money.
Michael?
No, you told me how she got him. But the first boyfriend of hers was a very short guy, so ugly. Money and he is in, you know about him?
I know the name.
He worked in the museum in Washington, but until he lived in Baltimore, I think. But he was the ugliest always think that you could have a big nose, a typical caricature of a Jew, you know, and short, and he had a brother. His brother was cute. They were from Domprova, and she was running after him. She was going with him steady, and then Michael came into the picture, so she was after Michael, and she stayed there, and she got married to him.
When did you meet my mother? Or father?
Yeah, mother and father I met actually here, because they lived in Linz, right?
Right.
Or in Bindeman or wherever. But I know the names, you know, they used to.
I'm going to show you something. My mother found this little book, which had to be very careful with it. If you want to interpret for me on camera a page or two.
You want me to read it for you and translate it?
If you feel like it, you can.
So let me see.
But I'll give you an example. This, I was told, is like a memory book.
A diary book.
My father was in Salzburg in August 45.
In Salzburg?
In Salzburg. So this here, let me give you one you know. Here. This was dated August 1945. It's signed Herta Monk.
Herta Monk, this is a Herta's name. Przypomnij czasem. Najważniejsze. Nie dość. Miejsce twoja koleżanka w tym samym. You know, I cannot read it and write.
It's okay. If you can't, you can't.
No dość. I think what it is przypomnij czasem. It should be najdawniejsze, najważniejsze, twoją koleżankę i tym samym najpiękniejsze nasze młode. You should, when you read a thing, remember one of your good friends that you spend time with in our good days, you know, the old time, your friend Herta.
So this book is filled. Sapka had this is signed by Helena, by Sapka, by.
What is Helena writing? Let me see.
Hold on.
They all wrote in Polish.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait till you see Sapka's
handwriting.
Gorgeous.
No, Herta writes beautiful.
But Sapka's is in German.
In German?
Do you read German?
I read German.
No, stay. I'll bring it.
Oh, okay.
I have to find it. This book, I have, for this project, collections of things that are unbelievable. This is part of the collection. So if you know that, while I'm finding this, if you know of anything else you want to share about the couples that you knew, how they got together.
No, like I said, I was with different people. They had different friends.
Okay. This is Helena Goldberg.
Helena Goldberg.
If you can translate.
Szczęście to krótka chwila słodyczy, po której jest tylko wspomnienia. Zweitens betu, po której w sercu pełno goryczy. Szczęście to tylko marzenia. Na pamiątkę miłych odwiedzin w Salzburgu, Helena Goldberg. Happiness is short and szczęście to krótka chwila. It's very hard to. Happiness is a short taste of sweets, po której jest tylko, from what we only have memories, po której w sercu pełno goryczy, szczęście to tylko marzenie. You know that, let me say it right, happiness is a taste of sweetness, and po której jest tylko and this is only memories, po której w sercu pełno, these are memories, but in heart is full of bitterness, you know, and szczęście and happiness is only a dream. It's, you know, it doesn't sound the same.
No.
As it sounds na pamiątkę miłych odwiedzin and memory for spending nice time in Salzburg, Halina Goldberg.
Now I'll find you Sapka. Isn't this amazing
Find
that
me
my father
Sapka.
kept this?
That is nice.
There are 26 notes in here.
Yeah.
You probably know all the people.
Yes or no?
Yep,
Where is Sapkas?
I'm looking. Someone wrote
And
in
bet you
Hebrew.
Rose Kruger didn't write anything.
What was Sapka's last name?
Sapkas.
Lessonia something? See if, look at the signature on the red and see if that's Sapka's last name.
I don't see anything.
On the bottom.
Sapka Leszczema.
Is that her list? Is that,
No, her name was,
this
What
could be
was
a
her
different
name?
Sapka.
maybe it is a different. To była lajka, nieraz ostrzegała mnie. This is in Polish, it's not in German.
Oh, then maybe, I'm not sure if it's the same Sapka.
Miłości ście się zbyt gwałtownie rwie się, bo miłość jest jak trujący kwiat. Nie jeden człowiek już odmiennej miłości padł, za jedną chwilę cierpienie, to wiek, aby się tej miłości i zdrowy szczek, bo gdy ktoś objęty tej miłości padł, ten męczy się i dręczy przez wiele, wiele lat. Na pamiątkę spisała. Sapka nazywa się Lezer. Lezer was her name, her maiden name. This is not Leszczona, this is not Sapka.
Okay, I'll find another Sapka.
And this is very hard, this is like a poem written, but it's hard to translate.
Anyway, so we have this. Let's go on.
Okay, let's
Unless you want to
continue.
take a break for lunch.
Well, I could take a break, but I don't, what time is it?
It's
now?
1.
It's already 1 o'clock. Let's take
Let's take a quick break.
yes.
And
Okay,
then,
but listen,